Ladies and gentlemen, in the last 48 hours, I've been made aware of a document few, if any, MPs not occupying the role of a minister in the state of Queensland would ever have been to become familiar with. It is the Ministerial Staff Code of Conduct. The principles outlined clearly in this document, which was written and introduced in a formal introduction, a foreword from the Premier himself, and is administered by his department, exists so as to maintain the faith and confidence of the Queensland people that the powerful executive government of their state, and specifically the Premier and Ministers of the Crown, are doing the proper and honourable thing with the vast taxpayer-funded financial resources at their disposal each day. Within this document, and specifically at principle number 2, it clearly states, emphatically, what must never ever be permitted to occur by the Premier and Ministers in their use of the many very highly paid ministerial advisors and staffers, and I quote, not to use official resources for party political purposes, avoid anything which might reasonably lead to the criticism that people paid from the public funds are being used for party political purposes. Having been made aware of this in the very clear regulation in the last 48 hours, I today am guided by my oath of office as a member of the Queensland Parliament and inform the people of Queensland what now appears to be potentially a deliberate and orchestrated breach of these rules to the tune, I expect, in excess of $1 million of taxpayers' funds annually. Specifically and firstly, I point to the existence and operation of what is known within the upper levels of the government as, quote, the Premier's Support Unit, or PSU. The PSU is made up of senior taxpayer-funded ministerial advisors from the Premier's office and comes under the direction of the Premier. The PSU, in reality, would appear to be a dedicated LNP political campaign unit that has been under the personal direction of the Premier since taking office following the March 2012 state election. The PSU has all of the LNP first-term MPs and their electorate office staff divided up between them, and their brief is to provide ongoing day-to-day rolling political campaign support, advice and resources to LNP MPs. This includes regular issues-based campaign artwork creation, campaign and political strategy advice, and firm direction on what LNP MPs are expected to spend their taxpayer-funded electorate allowances on, so as to best tie in and maximise the effect of this rolling statewide LNP political campaign operation. I hasten to add, I am not suggesting for one moment that one single LNP backbench MP would or should be expected to be policing what now appears to point to a substantial and orchestrated breach of the ministerial guidelines and on the acceptance and proper use of taxpayer-funded resources via the Office of the Premier and under his personal direction. I now move to a secondary area of grave concern which I have, and that is the utilisation of ministerial advisors in each of the offices of the Ministers of the Crown, with ministerial advisors who utilise the joint title of backbench liaisons. These backbench liaisons would clearly appear now to have the principles and regulations I've outlined apply directly to them also. The concept of proactive ministerial advisor within a minister's office dedicated to providing a liaison point to all members of the Queensland Parliament in order to support the people of their electorates on the surface is indeed an excellent concept. The gravely concerning thing is that it has become clear in recent days to me and my office that these taxpayer-funded ministerial advisors are in fact not tasked with that exact objective. Instead, as confirmed by correspondence in recent days to my electorate office from one of these ministerial advisors, located in the office of one of the most senior ministers of the Queensland Government, their services, funded by Queensland taxpayers, are also firmly restricted to only providing resources to LNP MPs. In fact, all members, not in fact all members of the Queensland Parliament, as their role title might suggest. I'm aware that a lot of the interactions between the PSU occur via specifically created non-government email accounts and as such are not supposedly subject to the right to information laws. I am, however, fortunately in possession of a body of evidence that I've collated since becoming aware of these potentially extreme breaches of the rules as they apply to the resources under the direct control of the Premier and Ministers, and I'll be providing that information to independent authorities for their assessment and whatever actions they see fit to take. I provide this information today to the people of Queensland at the first practical opportunity after reviewing these rules and regulations as outlined in the principles handed down by the Premier himself to ministerial officers. I realise the personal attacks and slander from persons who may be involved in these matters, but I feel overwhelmingly duty-bound to the people of my electorate of Redcliffe and all Queenslanders to take this unfortunately necessary action that I have today. Thank you all for your attendance here at Parliament House.
What about your own, the allegations against you? There's plenty of misconduct throwing your way. You've thrown a fair bit of mud today. What about yourself? Are you prepared to answer for yourself?